you have one, but
always. When would I not?
all right.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Noticeably smaller Corona than Cicatello had.
Yeah. He had a liter. Holy shit. All right. Welcome to another episode of Bushbanter, folks. We got a speedy round here with the guy that we have on the plate, but I guess I'll start with myself. G Hill in the building. How everyone's doing? I'll pass it over to my mauve buddy, brother Elliot with the tiny mic. You here in the house?
I'm in the house. Santos, what's going on, brother?
Nice. And Ramon Natali, I see you down there. You in the building?
I'm here, gentlemen. Welcome. Hello, all.
Perfect. And like I said, a speed round coming at you. We got a man here coming out of Mississauga, Ontario, from Cawthra Park High School, shout out. Also an alum of the High Park Junior program here in Toronto. Moved on to one of the best, probably, college sports names in history, the Dodge City Conquistadors. Arriba! We got our man, fastest man, voted by all of you out there players. You see him at first. Just give him second. We got our boy, Ryan El Blanco dos Santos. Are you here?
What's going on, boys? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Cracker open.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Cheers. Perfect. Well, like I said, Blanco, we're just going to call you that from here on out. Thanks for joining us, taking the time. So like I said, what we do with like most of our, big time guests, and we're sorry, obviously we had to make you wait so long. We like to talk about, kind of how you came up playing the game. Like obviously I mentioned Cawthra Park High School, but maybe get into a little bit of that, and then kind of how from there you became a conquistador, if you will.
Yeah, so like mostly my baseball skill came from like playing travel ball. So I played for the Ontario Blue Jays. So I grew up at time at Tops. So I was through the Ontario Blue Jays. So I've known him for multiple years. Did like private sessions with him, and then we went on like these fall trips, like go face like big schools like Florida State. We faced schools like Central Michigan, all these big programs, and scouts came out for those. And from there, we kind of got like scouting, I guess, and then like offers would come in, and then Josh Williams, who plays for London actually in the league, he went to the Conquistadors program as well, and he talked to the coach for me, and then that's how that offer came about. Through him.
Nice. So maybe, sorry, go ahead.
I'm guessing that you didn't want to play on London because of Ambrose. That's just my guess.
And they have practices and stuff, and I like the Leaf schedule a lot more. Show up on Sunday, hit BP, and we play.
I like it. We're efficient. Well, yeah, I thought, I guess, before diving into your JUCO you're at, maybe just to kind of shed light to a lot of people out there watching, this Ontario Blue Jays program. Like I know Tops has been very involved in it for a number of years as a catching instructor, and obviously like a beauty recruit here for our Leafs program. But why don't you tell people a little bit of that? Like at what age do you start with the Ontario Blue Jays? For what ages do you play? You mentioned obviously it's a travel program. You guys go down to the States. So yeah, why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
So with the Ontario Blue Jays, I think the biggest time like you can really get into that is around 14, 15. Okay. So it's like the development years, and then by the time you turn 16, you join the program. At the time, it was Sean Travis's program, and like that's where you get like the major development. And then you play like the big tournaments, like you go down to schools like Perfect Game USA, and you go down to like Jupiter, Florida for another Perfect Game tournament. And like those are like big events, and like there's not many programs that probably in Canada that have that opportunity. But OBJ is one of those like small, like I guess it's a big program, but like one of those like small like communities that you can actually like go in, fit in, and get that done. Plus, like, a private facility out here in Mississauga, which is like really close to my house, and like, you can go train there whenever you want it. So it's just huge for development from, I guess, all age groups, but from like 14 to 16, like to have that access to the facility, coaches there all the time. I think that's like the biggest part of like my development.
Yeah, and also, I mean, in terms of exposure as well, because Tops mentioned that you played with, was it Noah Naylor? Was in the same kind of age group as you, so getting exposure to not only scouts from the MLB, but also probably a lot of Division I colleges and junior colleges and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Noah Naylor, I had another teammate, Cooper Davis, who went to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
A lot of big names, like Jacob Cush, he just signed to Mizzou. Like there's a lot of guys I played with in high school that like are at these big programs now. Like Kyle Cush plays for Guelph right now. Like he's at Canisius. Like there's all these guys that like were on this team. Definitely like a good group to like play with.
Cool. And
That's super cool.
as it relates to Canada, like obviously, you know, like you're an Ontario kid, the Ontario Blue Jays. Is there a similar program in Western Canada? Because I know obviously there's a lot of bats that have come out of the West. You know, Justin Morneau, Jason Bay, etc.
I think they all usually play. There's two. I know there's one in Calgary. There's an academy in Calgary that they all go to, like a school, and that's where like Mike Soroka came out of and stuff like
Okay.
that. But then there's one out west called the Langley Blaze,
Mm.
and like, that's a really good program too. They always compete with like they always talk about Langley Blaze or Ontario Blue Jays in Jupiter for like the best team in Canada. It's always like a toss up.
OBJ all the way. You know
OBJ.
everyone knows the answer to that. Perfect. Well, no, thanks for shedding that light. So obviously, I thought we just kind of quickly touch on Dodge City, and then you know, obviously, we're gonna get to the meat of it, our Toronto Maple Leafs. But you know, freshman year, right? You had a pretty great season, I think. You know, 40 games played, 303 batting average. No home runs. We got to work on your power a little bit, but 24 RBIs, 24 doubles. You got a triple as well, and then 15 for 17 on the swipes. So have you? Why don't you touch? Yeah, why don't you touch maybe a little bit on how your freshman season, how you fared it went? Obviously transitioning there, and then we're obviously going to get into talk about those wheels you got under those feet.
And then also, how do we get Dodge City jerseys?
If I can get you guys hats. You guys want hats? I can get you.
Hell yeah!
Yo, we're
Hell
down.
yeah.
Send them.
So down.
But Dodge City was definitely like one of the best experiences by far. Transitioning into college baseball is a completely different world. Like you play, like in season, you got double headers Thursday and 2 games on Saturday, 2 on the road, 2 at home, and it's like a 7-hour day usually because you got BP first, you got the whole setup, you get lunch that is called like snack nasties kind of thing because like you ain't good food. But
just a nice table of Dunkaroos and just the best
bologna
stuff to fuel up.
the bologna sandwich,
Yeah.
turkey sandwich on the other. You're good to go on that.
Yeah.
But college baseball is a different world. You start to see matchups like righty versus right-handers, lefties out of the pen, like sidearm and stuff, which
Really
cool.
Big transition from high school. I gotta say, like I played.
For sure.
I got a good opportunity with my coach. He gave me a really good opportunity going there, so I got a chance to start at third base. That's why I played majority of the games. But it definitely was a learning curve for me to learn how to like bunt a little bit more. Don't miss signs ever.
Right. Especially as a freshman, eh?
Yeah. You might as well just pack up and go home because like you're not seeing that field again.
Right. So I thought I'd touch on, I noticed this here, and maybe you could clarify it, but I saw on one of your pages that you had committed to Northeastern Oklahoma. Was that accurate at all, or what did
That was before. That's the first school I committed to before going to Dodge City Community College.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so you kind of touched on the difference between the NCAA and the IBL. I wanted to obviously transition into the wheels you got. I noticed the third game of the season versus Eastern New Mexico. The kid, I don't know, it was Papa Tops filling in at the third base coach because you picked up 4 steals. So is that maybe why they didn't take you out of the lineup too much throughout the season?
Yeah, it has to be. I think my speed plays a big role in my game. Like obviously, I'm still trying to learn how to use that on the defensive side because I still need a map out there sometimes. But like on the offensive side, I think speed definitely plays.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we got a hot take from Damon Topley about the possible tryout of Ben Johnson, and we debated it as a group, and we think you could outrun Ben Johnson. I think in his prime, on the roids, you still got him beat.
Absolutely. I noticed another thing. Obviously, we're gonna get into the IBL, but I noticed that so you played on the High Park Junior program for 14 games in 2019.
Yeah.
So was that during the IBL season or before or what?
During. Whenever, like free time or like extra games like off, I just
take some extra cuts.
That's
awesome. Attaboy. So I thought obviously now we'll transition into your rookie year in the IBL. I'll give you the quick slash line here, and please note the guy was voted was it Ray second for rookie in the year?
That was second.
You just got beat out.
That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. It should have been a cold cut, case closed, bona fide win. Give it to Santos.
honestly, but I'll give the quick slash line here. So this is including playoffs. So 34 games played, 346 average. You had 46 hits, 4 doubles, 9 RBIs, and 26 steals. Now the 2 is including the playoffs, but But I don't know if you knew or you're tracking it going into the season, you actually finished second. And again, this league's been around for 100 years with 24 steals last year, second to our boy Candell back in London in 2016, who had 26. So you just meet him by 2. So
whatever.
Yeah, screw him. So why don't you tell us? You touched on it. That speed's kind of like a big part of your game. You know, have you always been active on the base paths, or did you kind of find like a coach like kind of throughout high school was like, buddy, like you got to be taking bases all the time?
Actually, fun fact, I was really slow until I turned like 17. Like I was so slow. I
No way, really?
My 60 time was like a 7.1, which is like average at best. Like I was not stealing anything. Like I got the heaviest speed in the world like when I was younger. And then I don't know.
You met Lance Armstrong, and now look at you. No disclaimers. Don't drug test him, Casper.
But when I turned 17, I was able to like work on my speed a little bit. Like I had like guys like I learned a little bit from like Cooper Davis and Deshaun Brown, like just guys like in the league that like I kind of like saw how they ran. So I kind of wanted to learn how to run like them a little bit, and then some squats, some deadlifts, and like a little bit of time.
Nice.
Once you got those calves popping, you had that spring in your step.
Got in shape a little bit, learned what the weight room actually was.
Right.
Kind of changed my life around a little bit, and then that's when I learned that like I don't need to hit the ball like 700 feet because I'm already going to steal second base anyway. So as long as I can.
You're damn right.
I like that confidence. All you pitchers out there, like, don't even bother tossing over. He's taking second. So just give it to him.
Do you look for something in particular, like when the pitcher's kind of in his warm up that you think in your head, all right, like I got this for sure. Like, is there a sign that?
Biggest 3 things. One would be a high leg kick. If someone goes high leg kick, like that's the easiest way to like take a base. Or like rhythm. If the guy's like the same timing, like 1, 2, 3, then I know to go on like that 3rd second every time. Or the third one is if they're really distracted with trying to find the strike zone, like they have a really hard time of finding something down there, then they're not paying attention to me at all. So I'll get as big as possible over there at first because he's not looking at me, right? So. Yeah.
Especially when we're yelling at the pitcher from the bush constantly, take their head out of it a little bit.
Yeah, so you had 24 steals last year. How many steals do you think, we might have got you like a base there? Like, did we get you a couple?
You got to give me at least 5. I got at least 5. I'll give you that for sure.
Well, when you do break the steal record, when there's the trophy presentation, we want to be at your side because we're accounting for about 20% of.
I think it's a group effort. We're a team here.
Absolutely, we are a team. I
kind of wanted to know what's it like to get that go signal from Papa Tops when he starts firing that arm around and sending you.
Just loosening up the elbow and sending them.
Yeah. Honestly, you get nervous because you never know where the ball actually is with Papa Tops. He wants to score no matter where the ball is.
Yeah, true.
I'm trying to score, right? More like my sliding at home plate at the concrete at that area because we both know that it's dirt.
It's definitely not dirt.
Yeah. On that note, obviously you played a lot of baseball growing up. You played in high school. You played in a junior college. You played with the High Park program. You played with the IBL. What is Papa Top's form, like out of 10, in terms of his wave ability versus your other coaches?
You got to be the top 3. He's number 1 for enthusiasm for sure. That guy gets going.
And I'd like to say on that note, like, how many games into the season when you started? Obviously, again, you're coming from a freshman at junior college to now a freshman in the IBL. Like, how many games in or how many steals had you taken before Papa Tops just like didn't even have to wave the arm? He's like, buddy, you got the green light anytime you're on first.
Well, like Tops told me like game 1, he's like, be aggressive. And then I think I had like 5 bases in my first 4 games or something like that. And then after that, Tops is like, just go whenever you want. Just don't be
Time and place. I thought I'd actually ask you on something. I'd written that down because obviously we did have Tops on the podcast going back a month. And like you said, you started off in the infield. And when you first came to the Leafs, you started in the infield. And then he put you in the outfield. And like you said, your speed kind of got the best of you in terms of reading lines. But we thought you really improved by the end of the season. And he seems to think that that's likely a better spot for you in terms of what the next steps could be for you as a professional. So how was the transition for you at first in terms of being received, and how have you kind of embraced now that new challenge being in the outfield as opposed to the infield?
It was definitely at first, it's definitely a different view, right? Like you're out there by yourself now, you're not like in the moment, but like reads, especially playing the corner, center feels a lot easier because like you're straight up and like the ball, like it's more true of a read. But when you play the corners, the ball slices a lot more and stuff. So at first, like that first step was kind of what got me. I was kind of late to things. But like what I've done to like improve, like especially in college, I take fly balls like before practice and then after practice every single day, just to make sure I get my defense up the bar. Because like as Toss, if he did say that's the better spot for me professionally, like that's what my coaches in college think as well. So for me to like improve my game, I think the best thing was defense. So that's why I always just take extra reps now, and like that's how I kind of make my transition.
Well, and based on just, you've shown such good instincts on the base paths that it's like you're doing right now, shagging balls every day. A matter of repetition and kind of finding your feet in the field. Like, where am I? How many steps is it going to take me to get there? And you've definitely shown the ability to do that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all like Connect and I were talking actually last week, and he says the number one thing about playing the outfield is just looking smooth out there. You look smooth and collected, and the pitchers trust you. That's all it has to be. Even if you're like scared in your head, you're like, oh man, like I might not be there. If the pitcher trusts you, you're good.
Yeah. It's called manifestation. I'm gonna catch this, I swear. Oh no, I'm not gonna catch it. I'm not gonna catch it.
Was Necty just dropping some hard baseball knowledge on you last week there?
He was. Like we talked for quite a long time about swing. Like him, I love to pick his brain. He was a pro player, right? Like his game is beautiful to begin with. So like any chance I get a chance to talk to a guy like that, or like actually a lot of the guys on our team, but like especially Connect, like if I had a chance to talk to them, then I definitely want to pick their brain as much as possible, especially when it comes to hitting or defense. And like you guys saw his arm this year too. Remember like the guys.
Awesome.
Yes. Speaking of Connecty and talking to him, we'd love to have him on the pod. So next time you're chatting with him, tell him the boys would love to tee it up with him.
For sure.
Awesome. So I thought I'd ask you this. So obviously, you had a great rookie season, like second in terms of rookie in the year. I guess I wanted to ask you because, it's a question that we've discussed with Tops and, a lot of the other coaches and managers in terms of recruiting Canadian players back to come play, especially ones who are playing in the NCAA. So, you may have had opportunities to play summer ball down in the States, but how was the IBL for you in terms of coming back home this summer? And to follow up on that, is it something that you'd recommend for other local Canadians, like Ontario guys, to come try the IBL instead of whatever other opportunities they may have in the States?
I think all Canadians should come back and play in the IBL, only because like one, you have a chance to make money at home because like you're not on the road, and like in the States you can't make money. I know you're living with a host family usually, but another thing is like the pitchers in the IBL, like I saw better arms probably on that Kitchener roster than I did probably against like some of the college teams I played with, like that.
Wow.
And like to compare that, like Kitchener, that closer, I don't remember his name, like this big Dominican guy, or whatever his name was. Way harder than probably 90% of the league did.
Right.
So like I feel like I would definitely recommend it for a lot of Canadian kids, and I think a lot of kids are starting to like pick up on that. Like we're getting younger and younger. Like I know about probably 7 of my teammates from my high school team are playing in the league this year. Just
really?
Great opportunity. Yeah, a lot of them are on Guelph actually, because Dino was the head coach in at OBJ. So, and he just took over 12. So he took a lot of those kids and.
Don't need
whatever.
Have fun.
You haven't got a taste of the excitement in the pits yet. That's it.
Yeah. So speaking of, obviously again, this will come out a bit later, but the MLB draft was this week, and our boy Matty Flo, Mateos Kakatos, your boy on the Leafs, unfortunately didn't make it, but he still has an opportunity because obviously it was a shortened draft, it's only 5 rounds, but has an opportunity to be potentially picked up as a free agent. We're hoping for you, Matty. But how is it like playing with a guy like that? Maybe you could shed a little light on how his development was. Obviously, it was your rookie year too, but
it's incredible experience to play with guys like that. Like he's a great guy. Matty and I was speaking to him yesterday about it, telling him good luck in like this coming week and like signings and stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Mets pick him up. I think that's what I saw an article on last. The Mets.
Nice.
Oh, really? Nice.
I saw some article that like he could be one of the signings, which I think is huge. I think he deserves it. I went to Nationals with him actually last year. We won the
right.
And like just watching him dominate Windsor like that when we went down there to play in the semifinal, like I just knew like that guy's definitely a guy who's, if he doesn't make it this year, he'll make it next year for sure. That guy's gonna get drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be a little selfish because I'd love to see him do another season with with the Leafs, but
wishing him all the best.
Sure.
Though.
What was that championship that you guys went down and won at the end of the IBL season? Because you and Maddie got scooped up down. Was that an OBJ affiliated team as well?
No, that was actually what team was Oshawa. It's like Oshawa.
Okay.
It's like part of the junior league, so they have like the elimination tournament. And, like the best team in Ontario goes to represent Ontario against Quebec, Halifax, and those kind of like different provinces. So we went to nationals over there in Quebec, and we got there late because we were playing the IBL playoffs. But we both had good showings. It was a fun experience, especially being Quebec at home, like being them in the final at their home place.
Right.
Pretty cool. So definitely good experience.
Was there any French bushmen up in the hilltops chirping you?
No, I was looking for some alumni. I thought you guys would have guys out there too.
Our Quebec division, yeah.
That's so crazy. So Oshawa just scooped up you two guys and brought you in as total ringers just to seal the deal on the championship? That's amazing.
The schwiggity schwa. They know how to do it down there.
Nice move.
That's awesome. Well, we got like a bit more time here, but I thought I'd touch on one thing here. When we had our boy Cicatello on, you mentioned he's kind of put up a donut in you in MLB The Show. And I noticed on Twitter when I mentioned, who'd be the best PlayStation player in the IBL, I threw out Ryan Dos Santos undefeated MLB The Show. So is that all you've been doing during quarantine? Have you been taking any hacks?
I'm taking hacks like off and on. I think I have more online reps on MLB The Show than probably like any gamer right now. Like I play every day right now. I got nothing to do. I'm out of school. I sit there, crack a beer open, and I play some games. I go train later.
That's awesome. Just collecting some nice fine dolls to add to your collection that are behind you on the shelf there, Ryan.
No, but like MLB for sure. I'll challenge anybody in the IBL. Anybody want to play?
Wow!
Oh, that's big. That is huge. That is
all right,
huge.
boys. This is going across the league. You know how to find him. He's calling out names. Anyone wants to step up? What's the
game? What's your username? Is it Swipe Dog 69?
Yeah, exactly it. Exactly it.
I actually got another question that stemmed from the Cicatello interview about you guys was snuggling across the border. Was that what your question?
So to give people context, we had sent out a tweet after Cicatello, one of the pitchers, one of the players on the Leafs, who came on the show. He obviously lives, well, not obviously, but he does live in Buffalo and travels to the games. So we were telling him that, obviously you're going to sneak us back some duty free. And he's like, I was the tobacco king. And then he goes, I even smuggled Santos across the border. And then Santos replies on the Twitter, I can confirm he did snuggle me across the border. And everyone had a pretty good time with that. So
hey, it wasn't a typo. Like he admitted to it. Like it did happen. The story there, but it was definitely a good ride. He's a good guy for helping me out with that. Like I went to go play a couple games in New York, and I had to come back to the Leafs, and he definitely helped me out huge. So
there you go.
Now, I believe he mentioned it was a lovely brunch that you guys had together, and then you scooted back to Welland.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Went to Welland, and we won that game too.
Yeah, there you go.
The 5-0 game.
5-0 game.
That was.
That's awesome.
Great. Well, I guess we can kind of sort of semi-project forward here. Obviously, things are starting to open up sort of across Ontario. Like obviously, fingers crossed. We keep kind of pushing this disease down, and stuff can open back up. I noticed that provincial parks are starting to be opened, and me thinks that maybe it's going to lead to parks being opened, and then London Majors obviously mentioned that they're taking procedures to open their facility in terms of making it COVID friendly. I know Welland already has a plan in place. The pits, it's kind of an open park. You could probably throw some circles down and figure it out. But I know a lot of players you guys don't hear as much as what's going on. But, would you like to play a season this year? Obviously, if shortened. And as it relates, I think, to you specifically with Dodge City, is that program going to be up and running in the fall, or what's some updates on that?
College baseball should be good to go. We don't have everything for sure, but like it's like from what I'm hearing from coaches, like we should be good to go. The season in the spring, instead of being 50 games, it's gonna be 40. They already shortened that. I do want to play this summer. I've been dying to play. Like I'm ready to go.
Yeah, nice.
And play. So I think us guys are trying to get some live ABs in soon, just to be ready for it. Because we're like hoping to get a season going. Even if it is short, we can get like 20 games in, 15 games in. Like we'll be definitely ready to play. So.
Right,
well, it's
nice.
definitely nice for you too to have that OBJ facility down the road. If that does open up, I mean, that's a perfect place for you to train and get ready.
Exactly, yeah. That's right there. There's a Tiger's Den up in Meadowville area, which is pretty cool too. So as long as these places are like opening up and we get some guys in there, like it won't take long for us to get ready. Like
nice.
that's good. Just like does a couple arm circles and he's good to go. So.
Yeah, I know. That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you know, on that note, obviously, we all hope that there's even a shortened season that could be played. You know, we're looking to obviously cheer on the Leafs, and hopefully we get an IBL season going this year. You know, we have chants for everyone. I don't know, like, we just basically yell El Blanco and Arriba, but I'll let you know that we are working on a steel chant. So that's going to be a generic steel chant, but I have a feeling that you'll be probably taking up about 80% of those chants. So, you know, from us to you, Santos, 24 steals, that's in the past. We're going to do 48 this year. How about that? Even in a shortened campaign.
Yeah.
So on that note, from us to you, buddy, hope you stay well. From the Bushmen, we out, boys.
That was so great.
All right, take care, guys.
Beauty.
Great.